Hello, welcome to Garibaldi Red on what should be a really good episode as we reflect on another special night at the City Ground after the Reds beat Huddersfield 2-1 to secure an FA Cup quarter-final against Liverpool, the first time been in the last 8 since 1996. And to do that, we're joined first of all by Forza Garibaldi's Greg Mitchell. Hello, Greg, you well?
Yeah, great. Bit tired, but good.
Good. And our second guest today is a Reds legend, a man who knows what it takes to score against Liverpool and beat them. Not that we're going to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we'd like to be joined by Colin Barrett. Colin, you well?
Very good, thanks, Matt. Morning, Greg.
Morning, mate.
Right, let's get into it. I mean, normally I start this by asking about overall thoughts on the game, but Colin, can you actually believe what's happening? You know, last time you were on, Chris Hughton was still manager. Forest would go on to have a nightmare start to the season, and now they've got an FA Cup quarter-final and they're pushing for promotion. It's pretty mental, isn't it?
I have to say it's been a surprise turnaround, in all honesty. And you've got to say the manager's done what a manager has done. He's galvanised the whole club. He's got the players on his side, and they're playing some half-decent stuff as well. And results. Once you start getting results, it builds confidence. But to come where they've come from the start of the season, it's quite remarkable. And I think the fans appreciate it, and the rapport between the fans and management and the players is far stronger now than it's been for a couple of years, I think. And if it continues, looking forward into the future, we've got something to look forward to.
What was it like in the ground last night, Greg?
Special. It was as good as the Leicester and the Arsenal game. You know, you kept hearing Leicester fans saying, "Oh, we're only selling it out because we're playing them," and then every single game now we're selling it out. The stadium's rocking. Everyone's singing all the way back to the pubs after. It's just superb. Fireworks going off after the game. It's just brilliant. Couldn't be better, could it, at the minute?
Let's talk about the game itself then. Just overall, Colin, the best team won, I think, didn't they?
I think overall, you can see why Huddersfield are where they are. Certainly in the first half, I thought there were times when they played some half-decent football. Forest could, in the end, have won more comfortably with the chances they created. Goalkeeper pulled off a few good saves, and that, was pleasing, really. So, and it maybe a kick up the backside for Samba to sort himself out. Whether or not he takes that on board, that's another thing. But I think that overall, the unit is pretty strong. They've got options now that they can call on off the bench. And I think it's a fairly strong squad they've got now than what they had at the start of the season.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about team selection before we break it all down. Greg, I think we've spoken on here a few times, all of us who do it regularly, and kind of thought Samba would come back in. But Horvath got the nod and did very well. Was it good man management by Cooper to back the keeper who'd done well in the previous 3 games?
Yeah, it was a real tough decision, wasn't it? Because he has played well. He's obviously... You're always a little bit nervous when he's got the ball at his feet, but his shot stopping superb, which was proved again last night with a couple of brilliant saves. But he made the right decision again, didn't he? Because, he had another excellent performance. It's just that distribution that makes you a little bit nervous, but we're winning games and we're not conceding many goals, so you kind of stick with what you know, don't you? And, Samba's probably going to look back and wish he didn't do what he did a few games ago, because who knows when he'll get back in. But they're both number 1 goalies, aren't they? So it's just a great headache to have.
Did you want to come in there, Colin, on that?
I do, because with regard to the ball at his feet, you do panic a little bit when you see it being knocked back to him. But I think that's an issue of somebody who's not played regular football. And it's an issue of somebody who doesn't realise the pace that the championship or championship games are played at. And I think when he gets to that, when he plays more and more games, he will get to the pitch of that sort of thing. I need to get the ball out there quicker. I need to release it from my feet, out of my feet quicker, because everything's quicker. And then when you step it up another gear, and then you're going into the next level, which you hope Forest will do at some stage, you really have to be. It is really quick then, and that's the issue, that you will gain more games he plays, the quicker he'll become, the better he'll become on that part. The actual distribution part, he kicks a good ball, half decent ball, gets it clearance-wise. But there is the issue that he thinks he's got more time than he has. And then I think once he plays, as I say, once he plays more games, he'll get the benefit of that. But Samba, he's another one who just takes his time. He pleases himself when he does it. And so, for me, I think he deserves his place last night, and he did really well.
The other player who came in was Sam Surridge, who scored 2 goals on the night, although one was chalked off. I mean, what did you make of him, Greg? I thought you put on Twitter the lino almost ruined your night. He didn't have a very good night, did he?
I couldn't get it out of my head. Even when we were 2-1 up, I thought he's still going to cost us. I thought these officials do not want us playing Liverpool. I could just see it. Years of things happening to us, ridiculous in big games. I thought, here we go again. And, we were behind the goal and thought, he's played it through his legs. How's it offside? There was a couple of ridiculous decisions. And, I think they used to have him VAR, aren't they? And maybe he just thought, I can put it up and look back after. And luckily it didn't cost us because, Surridge played superbly and he deserved 2 goals last night. So, luckily it didn't cost us, but they've got to sort it out. These professionals, they need to do better than they did last night.
What did you make of Surridge, Colin?
I'm pleased he got his goal. I'm pleased he got his goal because I think he's been trying too hard at times in front of goal to try and score. I thought his finish was exceptional. He's a mobile lad. He gets himself about the park a bit. He gives them options, gives them energy. And it'll prove to be a good sign, I think, in the end. And it just, all strikers are judged on how many goals they get. And he's got 1 now. So I have to say, I think this will be the start of his, relationship with Forest and Forest fans. And I think he's a unit as well. He's a big, strong unit. So I think he'll be a really good acquisition to the football club.
I think that's what they've been missing a bit as well. Like Sheffield United, they dominate the ball and create a lot of chances, but they just need someone to be ruthless. And without Graben, sorry to be fair, he was actually ruthless, wasn't he?
Well, Graben's job, Graben will only do it when he wants to do it. Let's be perfectly honest about Graben. The other thing is he is a goal scorer. And when people score goals, you can't criticise the rest of his game because that's his job, to score goals. I'm not really bothered about what he does elsewhere, or not too much anyway. But provided he's scoring goals, right, you haven't got an answer. You can't criticise him. So for me, I just think he's... if you keep getting the ball in the box the way they did last night, and Graben's there, he will get his fair share. He misses a lot, Graben does, in all honesty. He takes a lot of chances. He misses a lot of chances. This boy Sturridge, I don't think at this minute has had as many chances as Graben gets in the game. But the 1 chance he got last night, he finished it. Well, the 2 chances, the goal that was disallowed and the goal that he scored. The 2 chances he had on the night, bang, they all went in there. And that to me bodes well for the future. And it's a confidence thing with strikers, with a lot of players, but certainly with strikers. When they're hitting the back of the net, then they're more happy, and then all of a sudden they get an extra yard. They get an extra yard. Put it that way.
There's an interesting question here, Greg, that wasn't on my topic list from Richard about with Surridge. Where does that leave Graben? Does it push Graben out? And obviously there's Lyle Taylor. I mean, a lot of this depends on Keenan Davies, doesn't it, I guess, for next season?
I'd love us to sign Keenan Davies. I think, he was on the bench last night and arguably had the man of the match performance on Friday. Him and Surridge do such a similar job, holding the ball up and the strength they've both got, really like developing the play. So having them two and Graben, it could get a little bit busy. I'd imagine Taylor would be gone in the summer, especially if Birmingham managed to find a bit of money for him. What will Graben be, 36, 5?
No, he's 35 now, I think. So, well, 36 after the season, I think, yeah.
I don't know. Again, it's a great problem to have. It will depend on what league we're in as well. I'd love us to sign Davies, though. I think he's a player that we could sign, and hopefully we should go for him. So we'll see. It'll be a nice, busy changing room, hopefully.
You'd have liked to have a Keenan Davies. Well, you probably did have a Keenan Davies type player in your team, didn't you, Colin, when you were playing?
We had something similar. I mean, we had Peter With up front was the workhorse, and he did workhorse, and then we followed Gary Birtles after that. Slightly different types of player in terms of size, and because this boy Davies is a big boy, and sometimes he looks clumsy at times, but once he gets his head of steam up, it's difficult to mark and difficult to play against. Again, it's the issue of goal scoring opportunities. It's all right, the general play is all right, but again, he's judged on his goal scoring, and if he scores goals, then everybody's happy. With regards to Graben, 36 years of age, I wouldn't offer him a contract. I wouldn't offer him one. He's done his time at Forest, and Forest have got to move on. They've got to find a striker. And I certainly won't put Graben, being brutally honest here, I'd sign Graben if he takes half his wages. Right? That's being brutally honest. And if he can get him for that, because I don't think Graben will go anywhere else on the wages he's on. And we're doing it in the financial world we live in. And Forest are no different than any other football club. They will look at his wages and how much he's costing Forest, and they will say, well, look, we can get Davies for X amount of millions of pounds, which is an investment, or we've signed Sturridge, which is a bonus. We've already got him, so we don't necessarily need Graben at the wages he's on. And that would be my take on that. I can't fault him for his goal scoring ability, but the rest of his general play I can fault him for. But as I said to you before, I can't argue with somebody who keeps scoring goals.
So he'll be 35 halfway through next season. That was my fault, but he'll still be a veteran. Is Lyle Taylor at the end of the road, Colin, you think, at Forest?
Well, Lyle Taylor, in all honesty, he disappointed me, because I thought they had something that they needed at that time. But when I watched him play over a period of the time I watched him, he's more intent on trying to scrap with other people rather than stand strong and stand when the ball's played up to him. He's more trying to grapple with the centre halves, and he lost every battle I saw. He lost every single battle I saw, and I thought, it's not right. He's not the right person. Now he's gone away, and he'll probably go, if he goes to Birmingham, or if he goes somewhere else. Well, Birmingham, I think the manager had him, didn't he, at Charlton? I think.
Yes, yeah.
So he knows all about him. So that gives the lad confidence to go and do it at Birmingham. And if he keeps scoring goals at Birmingham, then Birmingham will pay him and pay more money. If they want him. So it's a win-win situation for Forest, because if they're thinking about offloading him and he does well at Birmingham, somebody will buy him. So Forest, but at this season, I don't think he's turned out to be the player I thought he was going to be. Put it that way. But I just feel that I've looked at this boy Sturridge. He looks okay, and I say Kieran Davies. It depends what Aston Villa want to do. Could Aston Villa decide that we've got enough forward players here, and again, like everybody else in football, everybody has a price, and if somebody pays the price, then I think he'll go.
Yeah, I mean, Villa's one of the papers our company covers, and I know that they've got that Cameron Archer, who I think they have above Davies in the pecking order, because he's 20 and Davies is 23 or 24. So they've obviously got Danny Ings and Ollie Watkins. So there probably is a way out for Davies if Forest can find the money. Going back to the game, Greg, did you think, oh, here we go, when Huddersfield score after Forest had a good goal disallowed? Do you think it was not meant to be?
You do, but it's a bit like Sheffield United when we get a corner in the 95th minute. There's this weird belief now. We've got this never say die attitude. We were playing really well. The crowd didn't lose it. And you just thought, we can get back into this. Where a few months ago, as a Forest fan, that happens. You're like, right, game over. It's a different team. We're living a time that none of us are really used to at the minute. And, we just keep going and we keep getting the results. And I thought towards the end last night we were going to get a third and just make it a comfortable last 10-minute party. So, it's strange times at the minute. Like the way that the fans are reacting to the team when they go one down is brilliant, and I think that helps. So, no, I never thought here we go again. But you're also got that little worry because we're so used to it after so many years.
If we look at the equaliser, and obviously we discussed the finish being so good, but in the build-up, Garner puts a good through ball in, and Yates breaks forwards and kind of sets it up just by getting in there. We should talk about them, really. I suppose if we start with Garner, his form since probably Christmas, Colin, has been top-notch, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think he's more back to how he was when he first came. And in fact, even better. Because I think there was more movement from him last night than I'd seen for quite some time. I think he's a player that, again, he's on loan from Manchester United, and I can't see him getting into Man United. It depends what the boy wants himself, whether he wants first-team football or whether he wants to go back to Man United and see whether he can get in their squad. But I can't see him doing it there. So Forest are in the forefront of getting him if they want him. I thought he was exceptional last night. And the one thing that disappointed me was the chance he had at the end. But if he'd have put that in the back of the net, I think it would have been an absolute dream performance for the lad, because he played well. He played really well last night.
What about Yates then, Greg? I mean, everyone on this podcast has always been the pro Yates camp, luckily, but he's on fire now, isn't he?
Yeah, there's still those fans that hate to see it, don't they? He's just brilliant. He's such a... I can't think of the word, not a utility player is doing him any injustice, but he can play anywhere. That through ball Garner made to him, suddenly Yates is our top striker, and you're thinking, what is going on? He's heading now, he's goal scoring. I mean, what a tackle by the Huddersfield player to stop his run, because I think he would have scored. And, luckily Surridge is there to back him up and get the goal. But man of the match again, and rightfully man of the match. And, the whole crowd singing his name again as you're leaving the stadium. It's brilliant. And I think he's in contract negotiations, isn't he? So get him signed up and get that sorted pronto.
Yeah, I think there's a 3-year offer on the table. How much of his form's down to the manager, and how much is down to the player, do you think, Colin?
Ryan Yates is never worried about accepting the ball at any given time. He's never worried about... he's always been there for everybody. His attitude is absolutely spot on. When he first came on the scene, I thought that he was raw. I thought his first touch wasn't great, and his second touch was a tackle. But now he's got, again, this thing about getting to the pace of games. I saw him play at Notts, and I thought, I don't know what everybody's shouting about this boy. And then I saw him come to us, and I'm thinking, well, it's just a little bit behind the 8 ball. And all of a sudden, he gets to the pace of the game. And he knows what he's got to do. I didn't realise he's such a big lad, to be honest. So he's got this... I saw him play part of a game where he went into the back 3, and I thought, it could be a centre-half in the making. But he's absolutely performing. His performance last night was sensational. He got the game by the scruff of the neck, and he was the one who was going to make things happen. He's now added goals to his game, because he has missed a few chances in the past. He is a really good player, arriving in the box at the right time. And we had a player like that in Ian Boyer, and there was sort of resemblances to Ian with his game last night, because he thought, I'm going to make a forward run. Now, a lot of this is down, when you say down to the manager, the vast majority is down to the player. When you cross the white line, you have to make your own decisions. Your manager has given you a sort of a blank canvas of what he wants you to do, but the manager can't make the decisions for you on the park. When players cross the white line, I think it's down to the players then. They've got to make the right decision. They've got to make the decisions to go forward, defend, or make the tackle. And those are decisions that he's getting right at the minute. And I don't think he's as I said, he's never shirked responsibility. He's never hid at every given time. When Forest were really struggling at the start of the season, Ryan Yates, for me, was the one guy that stood out, was saying, I'm always here for you. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Now, not everybody sees that. And because of the situation around Ryan Yates at the start of the season, the team at the start of the season, maybe Ryan Yates was the catalyst that everybody didn't like. But for me, I always thought to myself, actually, this boy's talented now. And I can understand why those that saw him earlier in his career thought they had something special. And he's beginning to grow as a footballer, as a player, and basically as an individual.
You don't get too many players like this now, Greg, do you? That kind of midfielder who's all over the park, who can pass the ball, who's a leader. And I've said before I compared him to Jordan Henderson, and I'll do it again because they're playing Liverpool next. But next in the cup. But there's that midfielders now, they're either holding midfielders or tens. You don't get many kind of like Colin says, all actiony and Bowyer type midfielders now, do you?
He's just so keen. You listened to Cooper's interview before the game, and they were asking him why things have changed at Forest, and he was saying about belief. We work on belief a lot, and I think Ryan Yates has always had that, hasn't he? Before a hell of a lot of Forest fans did with him. He's always been that player that you can tell just puts in the extra hours, and it's showing. His passion, like when he scores a goal, he's celebrating like he's one of the fans in the crowd. Like the joy, you just can't. It's so infectious. And I think the players must just all get a bit off that as well. And I think he makes the whole team a better team. So long may it continue, because I think he's only going to get better. And that's why I say, get him signed up, because it might not be long into next season where we get some big teams sniffing over him.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. You talk about belief, Colin. Last time you were on, I remember you were talking about, you said players were trying, but they lacked either the belief or the confidence to go the extra yards that makes you win a game. Obviously, you see that now, don't you? I guess they almost invincible.
It's quite. To be honest, it's very difficult to say what's made the difference. It could be the manager that's made the difference. It could be the players that have made it. But there is a difference, and the difference is that half yard, and that half yard is what was missing at the start of the season. And the attitude of some of the players now, they're getting into positions to help their mates out. Whereas before at the start of the season, they weren't prepared to do that. They were prepared to sit comfortable in their own places and say, well, I'm going to stay here. I'm just taking care of my own business. Whereas certainly this half of the season, these players are now making angles for passes. They're making themselves available. They're making sure that they get somebody in the box. It's all right. They're missing a lot of chances still, in games, but they're getting there. Whereas at the start of the season they weren't. So I think that the pennies dropped with them. I think the pennies dropped, and obviously results have made them believe that they can go further and further. And now they've given themselves half a chance, not only in the league, which is the most important of all, but now they're getting the accolades that they deserve with the performances in the FA Cup. I don't think Liverpool will be looking forward to coming to the City Ground if it gets the way it was rocking last night, because it was a game where the whole stadium erupted, and for a stadium to erupt like that, the players have got to make it erupt like that. If you understand my meaning, they've got to. Whatever they do it on the park that brings the fans into the game. If the players aren't doing anything on the park, the fans won't react. And the reaction of the fans over the last, 10 games has been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So the issue is, can they keep it going? The big one is Reading on Saturday. I think that's a must-win game. And then the momentum's going again. And it's a snowball effect, Once the ball starts rolling, you want it to carry on rolling, and you want it to carry on. And I think it's there. I mean, you can see it all around the ground. You can see it in the players when they play. They're closing down situations quicker. They're getting the head to the ball quicker. They're getting to, getting to the crosses quicker. They're getting down the line quicker. And it's a strange thing, but it's just happening because the belief that they can go and do it now. Whereas at the start of the season, they were in a shell. They didn't want to come out of that shell. And then all of a sudden things change. As I say, new manager comes in, new ideas. They bought it. They brought it on, and everybody's benefited from the club. There's a smile about the place now. I bet, as I said to you before, I think if you look at industry, I bet the whole of Nottingham's industry, the productivity's gone up in whatever you're doing.
Not this morning.
I've got a bricklayer down the road. He's built that bloody wall far quicker than he's ever done in his life. And I think last year he was just one brick every half hour. Now it's 10 bricks every blooming half hour. So it's one of those scenarios, and I think it's honestly true. It works when your football team of your town or your city is doing really well. the whole city's in a buzz. And that's what you've got now.
I think one of the things we've often said this season, Greg, is that Forest can't win without the wing backs pushing up and Johnson being integral to it. And Brennan was good last night, and Spence was good, and Lowe was pretty decent, well, not his best. But Forest have won the game with Surridge scoring, Garner and Yates are brilliant. I mean, how important is that they're not a one-trick pony?
Yeah, and I noticed as well, Surridge was on Lowe's side a lot more because everything goes down the Spence and Johnson lane. It was great to see the other side get a bit of the action as well. And going back to what Cole said, though, as well about the city, my friend's wife messaged him at half-time. They live just over the river. And she said, it sounds like the city ground's in our back garden tonight. So it really is. I don't believe the productivity thing in the morning. But
honestly,
yeah,
Greg, believe me. Everybody's gone down the shops and they're spending more money. Can't believe the good times are coming back.
So these blooming tickets are having to buy.
Well, that's the big issue. The football club's got to get used to this because all of a sudden, I bet I've had 2 phone calls already. Can you get me a ticket? You know, so the actual football club will be saying, we can't cope with this. We can't cope with this. But that's what it's going to be like. That's what it's going to be. And it's a lovely feeling.
You've got to be guest of honour on the 20th, surely.
Well, I won't be guest of honour, mate. That's many years ago. That was many years ago.
How nice is it, Greg, to be going down at the moment? Because you've probably gone to the games out of duty a lot of the time and playing because it's part of a routine and it's just what I've done for so many years. And now you probably, I'm not putting words in your mouth. You look forward to going to Forest games more now than since when?
I don't know. The Billy Davies years were good. The first ones, weren't they? I've got family coming up from the West Country on Saturday. They can't wait. It's like, it's not just the city, is it? People are coming from all over. You know, they're flying in from America and Ireland and all that. And yeah, you just can't wait to get down there. It used to be, we used to say, you know, don't let the football ruin a good day out. And now you go in because you can't wait to get in that ground and see what they're going to serve up this time. So I'd say, if I'm honest, it's probably the best I've seen it. You know, like when you're a kid, you don't really remember it that well. But 96 last time we were in the quarterfinals, I was 11. You know, I'd genuinely say this season now, especially after Christmas and how we did in January, it's probably the best. Yeah, best I've had so far.
What did your old teammates say about it, Colin, this season? I guess, don't know if you spoke to them last night, if you saw them or not. But what are the legends saying?
John O'Hare, we saw John O'Hare last night, and he said we really enjoyed the game. Good tempo, good cup tie. So they're on board as well. And it's like us old timers say, it's football 7 days. No more than keep telling you, football is 7 days. You know, you have a bad day one Saturday, the next Saturday you win, and you forget everything. So the 7 days is very important to the football club in terms of got Reading in that, and maybe QPR, I think, later in the week.
Yeah.
So they've got 2 good games coming up. That, you know, if they get 2 good results from that, everything's going. But the players, I saw Frank last night before the game, and Alan Hill was with Alan Hill all night, and he keeps saying, we're going. I said, Alan, be careful now. I said, we're going. He said, we're going at one. He said, I feel it, Cole. He said, I feel it, we're going to Wembley. I said, oh, come on. And he said, and I said around to him, said, the only way we're going to Wembley is if Liverpool leave the brains in the dressing room and the plumbing, you know, half the team. That's jokingly, you know, because I know upsets can happen. And we've all played games where we battered sides and then come out losing 1-0. So you hope we have one of those nights against Liverpool. But the whole experience that the players will take from it is vast. And then they'll know. Well, they know anyway now because they've had 3 Premiership sides come against them. The players there that have been with Premiership clubs, so they know what's coming. And when Liverpool come to town, and then you're playing the best of the best, if you like. So I have to say, the players will benefit from that. Some of it they might not like, but they've just take it on board and just add it to to what they've got, and I think it will benefit the club for the rest of the season. But the rest of the lads, I think they're the same. I'm sure they looked at Forest first, and they're just enjoying what they're seeing. Put it this way, our ground wasn't rocking like that. Our ground wasn't rocking like that last night. You know, in the old second division days, you know, when we were in, we had 12,000 in the ground. You got 27,000, 30,000 now for second division games, and you know, we got a fair bit of abuse from crowds there. You know, you can hear it. The worst part about it is you can hear everybody when there's only 5,000 in the crowd. You can't hear a soul out there when there's 30,000, 40,000 in the crowd, because you don't know where it's coming from. You know, it's worse when there's one man and his dog at a reserve team match, and they say, "Barrett, you're rubbish." You know, you don't get that. You know, whereas in the top flight, you don't hear it because the noise is just mind-boggling. Really is.
I'm hoping the linesman heard me.
Say again.
I'm hoping the linesman heard me last night. Sure.
No, well, I know. I think the officials. I love it because everybody says, "Oh, it was the referee," and that's never changed in the game. It's always the referee's fault if things go wrong. And they got decisions wrong last night. They did get decisions wrong, and in all honesty, straightforward decisions they got wrong. I thought the lad was lucky to stay on when the elbow went into Sturridge.
Sturridge.
I thought he saw that. I know the referee saw that. You know, from where I was sitting, he was looking at it and he's thinking, "I can't do it," and he should have gone for that. And then the offside one, I couldn't see where he was, and I wanted to find out whether he was onside. And then obviously you'd say, had that been at a Premiership ground, the game been at a Premiership ground, it would have been a goal because VAR would be in use. Because it's out of the City ground, you have to go off what the linesman has given. I was at the other end of the ground, and there was a situation where the other linesman, there was a guy, honestly, 5 yards offside. The ball gets played to him. He doesn't put his flag up, and that can cause so much. You know, both linesmen got a fair bit of stick last night from various plays. So the officials didn't do themselves any favours with straightforward decisions, not 50-50s, absolutely straightforward decisions. And those are the things that they've got to get right. And then sometimes the game is too fast for them. Sometimes the game is too fast. They're half a yard or 2 yards behind the play, and they think, "He's got to be offside, I'll put my flag up." And that's what happens.
Let's talk about how to beat Liverpool, if it's possible then. I mean, I know the circumstances were different, completely different when you played them, Colin, and beat them in Europe, but you've done it. So no one else on this panel's beaten Liverpool. How do Forest... how do they go about the game, and what chance have they got?
Forest have got, basically, they've got to sort their own games out first. If they play in their way they want to play, then they can't deal with what Liverpool are going to give them. If they're more worried about Liverpool, what Liverpool are going to do to them, then right away you'll be on the back foot. What you've got to say is, we're going to do what we do best, and then we'll go from there. If it doesn't work, then all well and good, but at least we tried doing it our way. We had a certain way of playing, and Liverpool would have probably had vast more possession than we had, but when we played, we were more direct, and we scored some good goals wherever we played against them. So we had a way of playing against them that they couldn't cope with us for 3 or 4 seasons. We did them. And I just think that we did it purely because we were more interested in our dressing room and not their dressing room. If you're worried about what you're coming against, when you see the team sheets come in and you think, "Oh dear, we're in for it today," then you're already on the back foot. I think you should do it the other way, where I want my dressing room to be right. I want my dressing room to have the belief that we're going out there, we're going to have a good go at this, and we'll see what the outcome is at the end of it. And so long as everybody on that part puts his lot in, none of us fans or ex-players will complain. And I feel it's a good opportunity for them to make a name for themselves. And I hope they go and do it. I really hope they go and do it. And I hope that Liverpool don't come here and disrespect Forest, because Forest are a half-decent side at the minute. And I just think that I can't see Liverpool doing that under this manager, whereas I think other teams have done in the past. And I just feel that it'd be a really good game, a good atmosphere for the town, for the city.
Yeah, I mean, there's a comment from Nathan here saying, hard not to worry if you see Mo Salah on the team sheet. But I guess, Greg, they might still be in the Champions League, probably, and still pushing for the Premier League title. So it'll be interesting to see what that team sheet is when it comes out, won't it?
Well, Klopp's doing his usual and already moaning about the fixture congestion. So, I've
got an answer for that. I've got an answer for that, Greg. I've got an answer for that.
Some games.
If you don't want fixtures, don't be successful.
Yeah.
And then have a word with your player, have a word with your management, have a word with the people who employ you, and say, well, I don't want to be as successful because we play too many games. He would be out of a job. Don't moan. There's enough plenty of time to play all the games. Honestly, I know I get fed up with these managers who say we play too many games. We played 80 games when we won the league, when we won the cups and all that sort of thing. We played 80 games a season. But the other side of the coin is, if you don't want to be successful, don't win football matches. And then you will play less football matches, and then you'll get yourself the sack. So bottom line is, Klopp, shut up and listen to the right? And play the game. Play, you're a successful manager. And the football club at Liverpool Football are delighted you're doing that for them. And they wouldn't have, if somebody else came in and said, well, we're not going to treat the FA Cup, we're going to treat the FA Cup disrespectful, we're not going to be bothered about that. We're going to League Cup, we're not going to be bothered about that. League, we'll have a go at that. European Cup, we'll have a go at that. They're fortunate enough they've got a squad that can deal with the league and the European Cup, and they're the big ones that they're in their eyes. But the other two cups, I've never heard a manager now in any League Cup final or any FA Cup final saying this. We didn't want to win this. They all want to win them. They all want to win cups. So all this thing about too many games, I just think it's But he's playing mind games, isn't he? He's just playing stupid games. We played so many fixtures. Well, Forest have played eight. Forest will play eight league games more than they will this season. 8 league games. So we play 46, they play 38. Forest are playing more games than them. So stop moaning and just get on with the game.
What chances then, Greg, of a win?
I'm glad I mentioned him now. There's always a chance. We beat Arsenal. Arsenal can beat Liverpool. We beat Leicester. Leicester can do something. There's always a chance at home. We might be able to target a couple of the inexperienced players. They might get a man sent off after 10 minutes. You just never know. There's no point filling that ground out if people are just going for a day out. I genuinely think there's always a chance, and you're one game from Wembley. And we've got some Premier League quality players, to go for some of their good lads. Like, we've got Spence and Johnson to cause havoc. So there's always a chance, always an opportunity. And I can't wait. I really can't.
Before that, like Colin says, they've got Reading and QPR. I know they're not bigger games, but in a sense, are they more important, Colin?
Oh, they're huge. Huge. I think it's 12 games to go or 10 games to go. Forest have got, can't remember.
12, I think, yeah.
So 2 home games, 2 good results, and the ball's rolling again. The way this season's going, they're now down to 10 teams now think they can get in the playoffs. Maybe even 12 teams think they can get in the playoffs, even now with 12 games to go. So this is as they say, the business end of the season. So you get the ball rolling, Reading on Saturday. That's all you can deal with. And then you'll deal with QPR when that comes round. But certainly the Reading game is one where you say, right, we've got the momentum. We carry on from what we've done this week. And we have to, first touch, first pass, first tackle, first everything is right. And then that sets the momentum of the game. And from there, we should go on. And QPR, we'll deal with QPR when we come to it, and then carry on from that. If they get 4 good results from these 2 games, I guarantee you now they'll get a good result for the next game.
Greg, let me ask you this question because it stresses you out. Either beat Liverpool or win the next 2 league games.
Well, we'll win the next 2 league games, and then we'll see what happens with Liverpool.
That's fair enough. I'll let you off this week. Yeah, take the momentum. The team selection will be interesting on Saturday, won't it? because Surridge could rightly expect to start, couldn't he? Maybe if he's got an ego about him, he'll think I should be in the team, shouldn't he, Colin?
Well, he did himself a power of good last night, and I thought he was exceptional last night. And then, of course, Davies comes on and he does his thing, and he's exceptional as well. So, isn't it a great thing for a manager to have that problem? And we've mentioned Graben, and we've not even mentioned him in those words. Who should play? He'll be chomping at the bit now, because he sees a lot of these. Because Graben's all about goals, you know. He wants to score as many goals as he can. So I think all three of them are in a chance of playing. Honestly, if Graben's fit, I don't know whether he's still injured or not, but if he's
still
fit,
out, yeah, for a bit longer.
So I think all three of them have got a chance of playing, and all three of them, really, you could argue that deserve to play. But it's what he does with the rest. So we'll have to wait and see.
I take it, Greg, Horvath's in goal now until he makes a mistake, is he?
You'd expect it, yeah. And I don't necessarily believe he's the better of the two either, but you know, it's momentum, and why change it if we're winning games? So you'd almost hope now, if he's in goal now, you want him in goal to the very last game of the season, because it means he's playing well and we're still winning games. So yeah, I'd expect him to be there. And with Davies and Surridge, to me, it just does not matter which one of them plays. They both do a similar job, and you're excited to see either of them on the team sheet.
Do you agree with that about the goalies, Colin? I know I'm not comparing Samba to Shilton, because Shilton was the best in the world. But if Chris Woods or whoever came in and had 3 good games, you'd still have expected Shilton to come back in, or are they just 2 good goalies?
This is a manager's decision. This one, this is a classic way you can pass the book. But the issue is the manager's got to decide who he thinks is the best goalkeeper. And then he says, right, the best goalkeeper plays. You can't be kind to a guy just because he's had 3 games for you and he's done really well, 3-4 games for you and he's done really well, and he should keep his place. I can see that argument but if you as a manager, you're the one where the buck stops at you've got to say, actually, I know he's done really well, but the other guy is still the better goalkeeper. And he has to go with that, as opposed to being sentimental and say, well, he's done really well for us. He's not let us down. I mean, Chris Woods and the Peter Shilton scenario, Chris Woods, I was with him the other day and I mentioned it and I said, well, Chris Woods is the only one who won a major trophy, never played a league game for Forest. You know, so you have to say, Chris accepted the fact that Peter Shilton was the best goalkeeper, even though Chris Woods, when he came in the League Cups, played it second, won us the League Cup, to be honest, in the final against Liverpool. So the big thing with that is, Cloughie didn't say, well, you've done well in that final, you've kept us in all the League Cup games, you've done well, I'm going to give you a league game. No. Peter Shilton was in. So if Cooper thinks that Samba is the best goalkeeper, he plays. But if it's the other goalkeeper, he also plays. So it's not necessarily a good position to be in, but this is where your manager has got to stick his neck on the line, really. And then it's up to the player then to prove the manager right. And I think it's a tough decision, certainly over the last 4 games, because this goalkeeper's done okay for himself. And I think he's enjoyed it, to be honest.
Does Colback come back in, Greg, against Reading? And who for?
I don't know. It was nice to have him on the bench, like when it looked like Worrell might have to go off. You thought, like, oh no, what's going to happen here? I don't know who he comes. I honestly don't know who he replaces unless one of the midfielders is shattered.
It'd be Zinkenegger, wouldn't it? I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he had a quiet game.
Midfielder. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he could do. And I think I've changed my mind on the goalkeepers now for listening to Colin as well. I think, maybe it is Samba's turn again.
We shall see. I think we'll leave it there for this week after some interesting chat. Thanks to everyone who watched along as ever and dropped their comments in. If you liked it, do give us a like and subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, any platform you listen to this on. It does really help us get people's attention on the podcast. Greg, thank you very much.
No, cheers, enjoyed it.
Colin, thank you. Tell us about your badge, Colin. Oh, you've been sat there with it for 45 minutes.
Well, the lad I watch football with is Dave Wheat, and he's a printer in Nottingham labels. And he printed all these badges last night. Got a couple of them. And obviously, the Ukraine situation, he's got the Forest emblem on it and all that. So we were sticking them on people's chests last night. So I said, give me some of them and I'll stick them all around my area. So one of the mates, one of the lads here in the town, he's a butcher. So I give him a load to put in his butcher's window. So hopefully they're all Forest emblems and that. Got a couple of them. Really good. But he's the one who, Dave Wheat, if I wanted a taxi, I'll ring Dave Wheat. I won't ring a taxi for him. He does anything and he'll do anything for you. And he printed them and he kept sticking them all around these supports. He said, what's that? And they all took it on board round us last night. It was really good. Really good.
Yeah, absolutely. For people who are listening, not watching, it's a very big badge of the Ukraine flag with the Forest emblem and, of course, the 2 stars on the top. Yeah, top notch. Right. Thanks very much, everyone. We shall be back next Monday, looking back on the Reading game. It's obviously a massive game, and hopefully Forest win. So, I haven't said thank you, Colin. I hope you enjoyed that, Colin. Thanks very much.
Well, anytime, you know where I am.
I do. Thanks a lot, and we'll see everyone next